Hello, everyone. We're from Ukraine.
Good afternoon. Yes, that's right. My name is Katya Pankiv, and I'm a psychologist from Lviv. Now I'm in Warsaw.
How is the mood in Warsaw?
It's crowded. Very crowded. There are a lot of us.
Indeed, there are a lot of Ukrainians in Poland, and everyone has different circumstances. How have they settled in? How do they feel? And whether they plan to stay? Further in the episode.
My name is Helena Brudska. I'm 33 years old. I'm a scriptwriter, journalist, editor, and all this I did in peaceful life. I've never thought that I'd had the number one task now. In my life, the number one task now is to find a safe place for my child. He is 3 years old. Children shouldn't hear explosions, shouldn't hear sirens. They shouldn't say, "Mom, there's a siren, but I'm not scared." They shouldn't be united at such a young age. They should be playing. They should be learning.
I'm from the city of Dnipro. I moved here on March 9th with my 2 little kids, ages 2 and 4. Here you are. Give it to David, okay? Give it to David. David. Give it to David. As soon as the war started in 2014, my husband went to the front line to fight. Now he is defending our homeland again. My son cries every day, "Mom, let's go." I told him that we were attacked by bandits. How can you explain this to a child? Dad is protecting us. We'll return to him soon. But he cries every day. Even now I came to him, he woke up. He wants to see his dad come to him, etc.
Tell me, please. We've been living there with our children for 2 weeks under shelling, and they always asked me why the war started, what was going on. How can I explain to a child what war is?
I wish the children didn't have to live through that. They shouldn't see it. They need to be saved. Now we are faced with a terrible reality. So these conversations should be conducted carefully, I would say. I explain this as a great injustice, as a desire of one country to prove that it's strong, powerful, and can conquer us. It's important to adhere to the paradigm that we are very strong in this dialogue or monologue, that we protect you, and it's important to focus on that because children ask questions to understand what's going on. But what they really want to understand is that an adult is here. You have me. I'll protect you. I'm here, and that means you are safe.
I wanted to stay in Kiev. I didn't think I would go anywhere at all. I was going to defend the city with the others. Then I realized I have 3 children who need to be fed, who, God forbid, will need to be treated there or whatever. That is, I'm causing a humanitarian catastrophe by staying in Kiev. This is a burden on volunteers. There are people who cannot leave due to some circumstances. I made a decision that we should evacuate. We were living with the whole family because we are a large family, and if I were alone, I'd have stayed in Kiev. When you have a little child, you hold them under your arm, in your arms. And when you have an old person who can't walk, you can't leave them. It's not a dog or a cat, it's just pain and fear for them, for yourself, for everyone. My mother is 96 years old. She can't walk because of her old age. Why did we decide to go to Warsaw? there was a situation where everyone was living. In stores, the shelves are empty. You're looking for bread. Mom needs diapers. There is nothing in the pharmacies, nothing here, nothing there. It's fear. I couldn't sleep at night. I heard explosions. They helped me to be evacuated with such a severe case. They helped my mother to be seated. We came straight to Warsaw.
My name is Tetiana Kuzmenko. I'm 37 years old. My companion in the forced evacuation is my daughter Marichka, 9 years old. In Kyiv, I was engaged in marketing, advertising, PR, and I was and still am an activist. I'm a spokesperson for the Hemp Freedom March, and I'm involved in other democratic initiatives that take place in Kyiv, in Ukraine.
I've never been to Poland.
How do you like it?
It's fine. Polish people are very kind. Very kind.
The way the Poles welcomed us, it was incredibly heartwarming. From the moment we got off the train until now, we are just amazed at the kindness, hospitality, and compassion of the people who live here.
The family of Jacek and Kasia, who shared their apartment with us, they have 2 children, 2 boys. Their children gave our children a very touching symbol, our Ukrainian flag. Actually, children in Warsaw are very sympathetic to our children. They greet them. I even saw on the children's school bags at the local school, when we were playing with my son near that school, that they even have such badges with our flag, blue and yellow, in support of Ukrainians. It's important for our children that they are also welcome here. They are greeted here. We were picked up from the station by car, and my mother was placed in the car. They gave us a new stroller, a folding one. They brought us here at 8:30 and met us in a very nice way. They fed us with borscht, they gave us mattresses and everything. We were crying a little bit from joy, a little bit surprised at how this could be possible. Is it possible? It's possible.
Do you have borscht?
Yes, it's borscht. Do you want borscht?
I'm Polish and I'm Ukrainian. So for me, there is no question why they help. The Polish people also feel that they were in the same situation because there was, it's called dismemberment of Poland, the partition of Poland. They feel that they were in the same situation and they can help now. It's very important. In general, I work in technology, startups, venture capital investments. At the beginning of this year, I launched my own startup. But we had just started and the war broke out. My co-founder and I decided to suspend our activities. The next day, we opened the first center for refugees in Warsaw. Thanks to Kuzminsky University and the Ukrainian House, we were able to do it.
Thank you.
Where you come from?
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Which city?
Chernivtsi.
Chernivtsi. Okay. When it started, I started to imagine, just in my head, what if we will have a war in Poland? My family will be in such a situation, and my wife will be forced to escape from Poland with my two daughters. What is my expectations from other countries, from my Polish neighbor countries? I expect from them that they will help us, that I will help my wife and my kids. And I think that's why I help, because as a human being, we can imagine.
Since the 24th, almost all our resources, all our capabilities, these are offices, warehouses, cars, connections, money, they have been 100% committed from day one to help Ukrainians.
We probably held 5-6 meetings, attended by more than 200 entrepreneurs from Ukraine who had an active business there, who were engaged in business there, and we answered questions about how to start a business here in Poland, how to open a company, what taxes should be paid, how to employ people.
We shared all our experience and gave counseling so that people could meet their needs as much as possible. At first, both businessmen and ordinary people had the same need, a place to live. Now it's very difficult to rent an apartment in Warsaw. And the price for renting a room, because so many people live here like that. There are owners in the apartment and you rent a room. We live in a room like that. But the price of renting such a room is higher than for a two-room apartment. There are no apartments available. You don't even finish reading the ads. Even if a person has money and wants to pay, you call and it's already rented. Hello. Come in. My name's Alevtina. I'm a producer. I came from Kyiv. I rented a separate apartment. The four of us live here. Me, the kids, and our cat somewhere. This is the main room. Poles call such apartment as Cavalier. It costs 2,000 zloty. There's such a thing as ginch, utilities. It's about 600 zloty. And another 200 zloty, I expect that this will be the cost of electricity and the internet. There are 36 square meters of the whole apartment. Here is the kitchen. The kitchen also has absolutely everything. And what was missing, the landlady brought it all here. There is also a small children's room, but absolutely everything fits in there because there are many drawers, cupboards, and 2 beds. When I was renting an apartment, give it to me. When I was trying to find something for myself, I was faced with the fact that the Poles don't always want to rent an apartment to Ukrainians. They don't always want to rent an apartment to people with pets. It's understandable. That's why we came several times, and it turned out that it was not us who were looking at the apartment, but the owner was organizing such a casting, that is, he was looking at people to see if they were suitable for him to rent an apartment.
Here we've created a non-governmental organization called Mom at Home. Actually, here, under this organization, we have 5 different homes for Ukrainian mothers and children that we take care of. And I think we are doing a very good work. I'd love to take everyone in, but the order comes from the voivoda, and the distribution is done on a general basis. That is, we cannot assign someone here and someone else there. In the city, there's general information about how many schools are available, how many kindergartens are available in different territories. If there's places available here, you can be brought here first and settled. If people do not move out, they will be assigned to this place, so they already have this place. There are 5 floors here. There are about 20 rooms on each floor. We try to accommodate 1 family in each room. That's in the ideal case, so that they have their own comfort zone.
We have a good bed in our room, a table with a bedside table, cupboard, everything is there. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Mirочка. We have everything for normal living. Those are clothes, hygiene products, absolutely everything. Entertainment programs for kids. Playrooms are great and nice, cozy rooms. We are absolutely satisfied with everything here. At first, we lived with one family, then after a week of staying with them, we went to one of our friends, which coincided with the fact that they were away on a business trip and their apartment was empty. We are now in our third accommodation. Finally, we've unpacked our suitcases, hung our sweaters and t-shirts on hangers in the closet, and plan to stay here. Because honestly, moving is a bit exhausting. I still dream every night either about a train or a road. Or it's always some new place, some new apartment. I need to get my bearings to realize who I am, where I am, what I am, and what to do next.
We are temporarily living with friends. In general, before I left, I looked at the internet pages where people from all over Poland write, "We will host a family of 3, a mother with 2 children, for a month, for 2 months, for a long time." You don't have to go where you don't know. You can prepare, call, or write. The first thing that happened was that we were met by Poles who gave us this apartment, their apartment, for free. They said, "You can live here as long as you need. You don't have to pay for anything." We offered to pay for utilities later. They told us that they didn't need anything. It's just for you. We can't do otherwise. The fridge was completely full of food. The cupboard was full of cereals, sugar, butter. Everything was there. Everything was just for us to come and live comfortably for a few days without even going to the store. We've never felt such support. And I will be grateful to our host family in Poland for the rest of my life. They became for us like a family because such support was very important and very touching to us at that time. We Ukrainians are such a free people, you know. I was so embarrassed that so many people were giving us help. It's very hard for us as Ukrainians to accept. We never wanted to ask for it.
Nowadays, there is a peculiarity that adults find it very difficult to accept help. They don't admit that they need it. It's easier to admit, let's say, from the children's side, because children definitely need some kind of support. But the point is that a child needs a stable adult to adapt to new conditions. When I say it from the point of view that your child needs a stable mother or stable grandmother, then people definitely make contact.
Do you have a lot of people coming to see you now?
A lot of people have started coming now. For example, on Friday I had individual family therapy, then we had an art therapy group with children, then a support group for mothers, where we can help many people at once.
What problems do people come with the most?
A lot of anxiety and uncertainty. This fear causes a kind of helplessness that is very natural and very understandable to me. Many people come to me, for example, because their children don't sleep or because children are afraid of loud sounds. In fact, adults do the same. Actually, I'm watching my son. We were in Lviv. We managed to leave before he saw or heard anything terrible. It was just a few sirens. In the first days when we stayed here, he fell asleep, I sneezed. He woke up and started running, started to save himself, so it's difficult. After we were in the first evacuation in the Kyiv region, at that time we lost electricity and stopped having access to drinking water. We had wells left, so after this water and food limitation, we can finally drink water from the tap and eat whatever we want. Now I finally understand my grandparents who always had a stockpile of food.
When we moved, my mother was so afraid that the food would disappear again. I think we had 3 bags of food.
I still have something for a snack in every backpack. To always be sure that food and I are inseparable.
My husband cooks. I don't know how to cook. He makes soups, a normal diet, almost like in Kiev. He tries to bring everything back to a stable, normal course. That is, we need to eat properly, go for a walk on time. That is some kind of regime. We had very difficult weeks when we were recovering. My little son, 5.5 years old, every night he says, we need to pack up the toys, because when we leave, we might forget them. I say, no, wait, we're still staying. There is no need to pack anything now. Everything is fine. It's to be sure. And he puts them next to him. We need to get ourselves and our children back into a normal routine. Food is very important. This is also a unifying important factor.
I have kids, and each of them has experienced a panic attack when the kid was shaking. What should I do with this?
Panic attacks are good because, subjectively speaking, as a psychologist, it means that the emotion finds a way out. We work with children primarily through the body. There is a universal exercise that helps a lot. It's called hugging of a butterfly. Let me show you how to do it. The fingers are folded like this. There are bundles of nerves under the collarbones. When we just spank ourselves with such calm movements during a panic attack, it will help our body physiologically to simply reduce the level, even the speed at which the stress hormone will move through the circulatory system. This butterfly will give you a hug, even if there is no one around. If you can't fall asleep for a long time, do you have that now?
I fell asleep at 1 a.m. last night.
We go to sleep like that, and literally 3 minutes of butterfly, and your brain is like, wow. Who knows how to give themselves a hug?
I have a bead as a hug.
What should I do with aggression? What do you do when you are overwhelmed by this hatred?
This is our fight or flight. You can have the aggression, and at the same time, you have to be careful with your loved ones who are around you, so this aggression doesn't sometimes spill over onto them. We just need to direct this aggression somewhere in the right direction. A lot of my friends have started running, that's it. If we are talking about children, they also have a lot of anger. Sculpting. It's paradoxically, but doing something with your hands, plasticine, dough, clay, transform aggression and anxiety very well. We have to use our bodies, do massages for children, give hugs, and let them jump a lot. Also, the adrenaline is released through the movement. It's somehow processed. Fingers outward, elbows towards you, toes together, knees together, back, head up.
As for the state support, I understand that they are trying very hard to support Ukrainians. They didn't expect such a large number of Ukrainians in Poland. For example, after you cross the border, you have the right to stay here officially for 18 months. You have the right to medical care. My friend took advantage of this help. Her son had some health problems with his leg. She just called a private company. Even private companies provide assistance to Ukrainians. He was examined without any questions, free of charge, by a leading specialist in a private clinic, a surgeon.
On the first day of the war, my glasses cracked, and the next week I was appointed with a company that does a free vision test for Ukrainians and provides at least 10,000 glasses for Ukrainians. Some dental companies have united to provide emergency free assistance to Ukrainians. At first, it was only for children, but now it's available for adults. Medical workers, doctors, and nurses come right here. They conduct free consultations, give out free medicines, they even prescribe tests for free. Yesterday, I had my children tested and was told that a car would come to pick us up to take the test and bring us back. This is even without registration of a parcel number. Everything is done here.
About 3 million Ukrainians have come here, mostly to Warsaw. The local administrations, which are called Uzhonda, can't cope with such a large number of people. They're trying very hard to do so, but they can't process such a large number of requests. I had 3 attempts to get a PESEL, which is what they call an identification number in Poland. Thanks to it, you can receive financial assistance. It's 300 zloty for an adult and 500 zloty for a child under the age of 18. But in order to do this, you need to get a PESEL. I had 3 attempts to get a PESEL first and went to the local Uzhonda. We came very late because it was 10 a.m. and we saw the line of people. The line of 200 our people at least. And then we thought, let's go there the next morning. I got there at 7 a.m., an hour before the opening, and saw that I wasn't the only one. There was a line, and people told me that they had been waiting since 3 a.m. Then we received a message on our phone that there will be points at the central stadium here in Warsaw. 100 windows will be open at this stadium at the same time to provide assistance to issue this parcel to our Ukrainians. We arrived the next day. We arrived at 9 a.m. The stadium started working at 8 a.m. They said over the loudspeaker that there were no more coupons for today. And we realized that we would have to try hard to get one. I went on foot at 2 a.m. to the district office Uzhonda, as they are called here, on the night of Tuesday to Wednesday this week. And from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m., I was standing in front of this Uzhonda. We had a list of people who came before me. 2 people came at 9 p.m. the previous day. I was already the 13th at 2 a.m. We were standing on our feet and waiting for the Uzhonda to open to get a coupon. My husband and my 3 children, they left the house at 6 a.m. and walked for half an hour. At 6:30 a.m. they came to the district office so that we could come in and get this parcel. I haven't yet applied for the social allowance. I didn't have the opportunity to go there with my mother. It's very complicated for me. She has a lot of needs. I don't go anywhere. I don't buy anything. In fact, I live on what we have. What do we need as 2 pensioners? For now, that's how it is.
Thanks to humanitarian aid, we spent almost nothing on basic necessities. Yesterday, I bought laundry detergent and fresh fruit and vegetables. So, we don't have any special needs. We realize that we are in evacuation, that we are here temporarily, and we can afford to live with a minimum of groceries and extra needs. The meals are very good, but not always suitable for small children. There are different jars of ready-made mash and so on, but not all children eat them. So I have to make my own. A homemade soup with meatballs, as they're used to, the cutlets too. There are a lot of shops around. The prices are even lower than in Ukraine. So there is no problem with it.
My husband gave me a list of products from which he cooks borscht. He cooks it in our family. So we'll see how much the borscht will cost. Not in Kiev, as we used to, but in Warsaw. I'll take 2 medium beetroots. I'll take 2 medium carrots and a kilo of potatoes. A cabbage for the borscht. It's too big. Well, there's no little one. A tomato sauce. That's for a pot. A sour cream. One for a big family. This will be enough. So that's 31.5 zloty. Should we convert to hryvnias? Yes? 3 multiplied by 7, it's about 220 hryvnias. Yeah, that's right. I like that the prices of food and clothes are almost the same as in Kiev. I think Warsaw is perfect for Ukraine as a temporary stay, if there wasn't an extreme problem with flats. You know, it's easier with the language in Warsaw, for one thing, and it's closer to home. If I came to Berlin, I wouldn't understand anything. Here we communicate, and they respect us. It seems to me that Poles and we are just like brothers when I talk to them. Just they speak Polish and we speak Ukrainian.
Every day I understand the language more and more. I am already starting to answer in Polish. Sometimes they understand, sometimes we ask interpreters to help if there is something they can't understand. But if you want to stay here, you have to learn Polish. It was very interesting in terms of language knowledge that fruit here sounds like vegetables. And when we were buying vareniki, which are called pierogi here, there was an inscription among the names. It seemed to me that they would be vareniki with strawberries and cheese. But in fact, it was potato and cheese.
Ziemniaka.
That was just an example of why you have to learn the language and understand some words of the country you're coming to. It still doesn't occur to me that vegetables in Polish is fruit.
I once came up with the word obiad, and it turned out to be the right one. Polish is a bit different, but 6 months of good courses, living, staying, and everything is super. The best thing is for the children here. They come to kindergarten or school, and most of the children can already speak English. That means they can already communicate in English. If they don't speak English, Polish is very similar. 6 months in kindergarten, and the local language becomes their mother tongue. And soon there will be even more Ukrainian teachers, so it will be fine.
From the point of view of Ukrainians who live in Poland, tell us about your impressions. When you moved to Poland, how much did Poland surprise you, and what were your first impressions? Are you comfortable to live there now, in comparison with Ukraine?
We like Poland very much. I guess I wouldn't want to change this country because it's a very family-oriented country. Children don't annoy anyone here. There are great opportunities for children's development here. We have 3 children. They go to a regular school and get a great education. They develop both in sports and in creativity. It's absolutely comfortable in all aspects. I would say there are only pros.
Are there any business fields in Ukraine which our businessmen could teach Poles? Something that we have better organized? What businesses could enter Poland and work successfully there?
In Poland, the service suffers greatly. This is any restaurant business. In Ukraine, we have a much better business in this area. Digitalization. Poland is very far behind in everything related to digital, marketing, and IT systems. We are probably about 10 years ahead of them. So, the digital business could come in most effectively. It seems to me that the service sector should also come in qualitatively. But Poland is constantly developing economically, constantly moving forward. Whatever business you come here with, it will be on trend. It will develop. Whatever you do, if you do it right, you can make a living and you can build a big company. There are a lot of examples of guys who came from Ukraine and built big companies, big corporations in a year or 2.
The success of the Ukrainian entrepreneur is inevitable because everyone is very efficient. In general, our people are creative, efficient, and ready to work and take on any job. There is no such thing as being a business owner. We have a clear example. We have friends who have a ruined house, a ruined company, and the guys are considering any job ready to start from the ground up. There is no crown on their head, as they say, and that means a lot. I finally understand the school timetable for Marichka. The classes there finish at about 2 p.m., but there is an after-school group called Svitlitsa. The children stay at school until 5 p.m. So I have the opportunity to find a job from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The advertisements that I looked through, they all require knowledge of the Polish language, but there are plenty of opportunities for Ukrainians. If I lived in Warsaw, I would go to the contact center because there are medical, banking institutions and different companies providing services to everyone. Not only Poles, but all Poland residents. They all need Ukrainians on the hotline now. I haven't tried to get a job because at the moment it's just not realistic. There will be no one here to look after the children, and for the time being, I'm completely with them. From morning till night, every day. First of all, my children need a kindergarten, which we haven't found yet. At the moment.
My 3-year-old son Vladik and I went around the neighborhood looking for a kindergarten for him. After going around 3 kindergartens, we found a place in one of them after all. It's very easy there. You just have to come and say that you want to attend this kindergarten. Most of them are public kindergartens. We haven't applied to private kindergartens. I don't know what the situation is there, but I know that there are discounts for Ukrainian children. There they give a simple registration form where you have to fill in your passport data and write an appeal. If you bring the documents tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, your child will already be attending this kindergarten. They are very welcome to our children. They are helpful. In one kindergarten, I even met an employee who spoke Ukrainian. The directors When they see that we are from Ukraine, treat us well, with understanding, and try to help us. Ukrainians are now considered to be equal to Poles. This means that if there's free education for Polish children, it's also free for Ukrainian children. In most cases, you need to find a Pole who lives nearby and ask, where do your children go? To which school? Go with him to that school and enroll your child there. This is the easiest way. As a non-governmental organization, we'll create a daycare centers that Ukrainian and Polish mothers equally can franchise, make their own small businesses. To upgrade. Children will be together, both Ukrainian and Polish. It seems to me that we are at the stage where we have to show that we're all equal. We equally perceive people with needs who are in Poland and people with needs who come from Ukraine. I was talking to parents like me, and they were saying that there is a problem with enrolling a child into school. For an older child, not for primary school, but for an older one. They went to different schools in Warsaw, looking for a place. On the other hand, in the district administration, a woman said to me, "Listen, there's the Warsaw Education Department. Here is the address. It's right nearby. Go there. They have a list of available schools. You don't have to go and call." Well, now I don't know where we'll be in a month. We have to consider it. It's very good that the eldest child has remote studying from her Kiev school.
Give me some advice, please. We got out of the occupation. Now I'm trying to get my children back to normal life, to studying, to helping their parents in the kitchen, to some kind of everyday routine, but it's not coming out so easily.
First of all, you as adult have to refuse the illusion in your own that this is a normal life. It's important to listen to needs. The first thing we do is adjust the physiology. It's not about the intellect. That's why I said you should have at least 2 weeks of safety before giving any kind of exercise. That's why I'm honestly a little angry that our displaced people are so quick to send their children to schools here in Poland. A new school is already a lot of stress, and together it's just a gigantic stress. It's hard to overcome. My son went to school after a month, and I can see a big difference now. We've been here for months. We tried remote studying, but it wasn't working for him. Simply no way. You often have to ask the kids, what would you like? It's not because they're mean or anything. They need time too. It's hard for adults, but I can't even describe how hard it is for children.
I decided I had to ground myself somehow. So I took the elder kids, and 1 week ago we went to the Poland Museum. It's a museum on the history of Polish Jews. First of all, it's free for Ukrainians. You can come at any time. I think there was a small influx of people, just so there were still tickets for us in the middle of the day. It's a blessing. We really enjoyed it. There are interactive installations. There are a lot of information there. There are tour guides that you can click and choose in Ukrainian. It was very interesting, and my son even liked it. He was walking around, clicking and listening to it all. Today, we are planning to go to the Paleontological Museum. I hope there are still tickets left. The Poles have a program for Ukrainians called Forget the War for a Minute. They've opened locations such as zoos, recreational areas, the shopping museum, the Copernicus Science Museum, and many other locations here in Warsaw and throughout Poland, where Ukrainians can come with their children for free and really forget about the war for a minute. Children need positive emotions first of all. If a child sees his mother's anxiety, the child will feel it too. I'm grateful to all the volunteers and Polish authorities for arranging this for us.
In Poland, every Friday we go to children's art workshops conducted by Ukrainians. There the children get to know each other. When Marichka, arriving in Warsaw, met the son of my friend, who teaches at this art center, it was a great joy for Marichka.
There are various cultural programs for children and adults. There was even a symphonic concert. The animators always keep the children entertained with drawing and some kind of competitions. They show different cartoons on the projector. There's a sports center somewhere nearby, but I haven't gone there yet. And there's a swimming pool for children, different sports, dances, etc.
It was my brother's birthday, and it was both war and birthday at the same time. There were congratulations. I could see that he was in good mood, but he blamed himself for it. In general, is it normal to feel joy, happiness, and laugh during a war?
Let's make an agreement with ourselves, not only during the war, but throughout life, that everything I feel is okay. This is normal. Especially in times of war, the psyche doesn't do anything silly. It does everything to keep itself safe. There's such a simple analogy with your phone. It has a 100% battery. That battery is our resource. If this joy boosts your battery by even 1%, then it makes sense. It's important to be kind to ourselves in the first place, because when our phone charges out, we don't throw it against the wall. We put it on a charger, that's all. Charging starts with physiology, safety, love, and then everything else. That's why joy will be like, as they say, the joy embraced with the sadness. It's important and it's valuable because it's rare. I feel a bit guilty about not being able to realize myself fully and somehow help either our soldiers or Ukrainians who have now found temporary shelter in Poland at the moment. This feeling, if I'm not mistaken, is called survivor's guilt. It's so confidently grasped with its teeth and hold on. But on the other hand, I understand that the most important mission right now is to raise my kid, because the future in a free, even more independent Ukraine will be on her shoulders. She will have to continue to build it. This gives me peace of mind. I continue to make my kid happy and hope that her nervous system is not badly affected by this war.
I will remember probably to the end of my life such a situation. I was here and one family approached me, and there was a woman with a son about 13 years old and the daughter Sophia. And the daughter was 6 years old, like my daughter. That little girl was full of stress, and she was nervous, and I was trying to tell something, you know, something not about the war. And suddenly I'm showing her the Palace of Kharkiv, and now you can see this is the Palace of Kharkiv, this is over there. And she said, I will remember this always, she said, nice colors. And I said, these are colors of your flag. And she was like, no, it's just blue and yellow. No, these are colors of a flag. And look at the other buildings. And other buildings had the same colors. And that was so touchy. And she couldn't believe. And that little girl she had a small backpack. And she took from that backpack like 3 candies for my wife and for my 2 daughters. That was so important for her. She was so proud that she's giving something to me, that she's giving something to my wife and to my daughters. That's a special moment in my life. We had like tears in eyes. We were crying a little with her mother.
When I arrive in Kiev, I'll have an enlarged photo like this on my wall for the rest of my life, a souvenir of Poland and my journey with my old mother. As long as I live, I'll say thank you to Poland. I'm very grateful to all of them. I was impressed with Warsaw because everywhere you go, you look up and there's a Ukrainian flag on the balcony. You cross the road and there's a taxi with a Ukrainian flag on it. You go to peaceful demonstrations. Here in Warsaw, they take place almost every day, every weekend for sure. Such a solidarity and such a support of the Poles. The Poles come to our demonstrations with their banners. I'm very impressed by their support. It's very powerful and touching to feel it now.
Ukraine, 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 Ukraine. As soon as we realized that Marichka can go to school, and I can also be useful for the reconstruction of Kiev, I realized that there will be a lot of work in construction and in the service sector. As soon as we see that it is already possible, we go straight back.
I really want to go home. My mother is from the countryside, and we only dream of the time when gardens will bloom and crickets will buzz, and I will run barefoot in my hamlet. You know what I mean. My place is my place.
I call my husband every day and ask him such a silly question. When can I come home? To which he can't give me an answer. I don't know what to think. I have no thoughts about it. There is just some kind of explosion and chaos in my head about it, because you don't understand what's next for me and my children in life, and my relatives who are left there.
The worst thing is that I might lose my husband, who stayed there in Ukraine. He isn't a military man. So far, he is working and supporting the Ukrainian economy. The scariest thing is that I might lose my parents. I have been living in Donbass in occupied Luhansk since 2014 for 8 years. My morning starts with texting my parents whether they are alive or dead. I contact my husband. I check the camera in Kiev, which is installed in my flat, whether there is anything left of my home. There's everything left. All my life, all my dreams, all my plans. To be honest, mentally, I died on February 24th. My home is there anyway, And I've never wanted to leave my country and go away forever.
My parents were left without anything. No house, no car, no papers, no clothes, no nothing. I look at my mother and she's terribly apathetic. There was a feeling that we had survived, but that life was already over. If you can somehow explain to children that life will go on, we'll get everything, everything will be, but parents have such a feeling that it's the end. How should I act in this case?
Our parents and people in general who have lost something precious and important, they are faced with grief. It's the grief of loss. It has to be healed as much as it may sound. It has to be mourned. It has to be endured. If it lasts for more than a month, it is a warning call. Usually within a month, a person manages to cope with it. Again, the same advice is to be there for them, to say, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm so sorry. By no means devalue or say those words, we'll buy a new car. It isn't about that right now. It's important for people to bear it. But there is no rush. Give them the awareness that you are strong, that you are there for them as a son, that you can handle it, because our dads and moms can regress too. They want to be cuddled too. You have to support them in any way you can.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna go make pies with my parents now.
Oh, great. That's super. And then go for a walk.
And then a walk, yeah.